What's up guys, SeanEDawgz here, and one of the most commonly asked questions that I get is something along the lines of how do you hover in the air, how do you glide like that, I can't seem to get those high wall runs, how do you do it? A lot of people are having trouble with this exo movement in Infinite Warfare, so I'm going to try to explain to the best of my ability what I believe is the best way to control this air movement, jetpacking, whatever you want to call it. So the complicated part of this is that you can't just go ahead and take one specific sequence of jumps that I do and try to memorize exactly when I'm hitting the A button, how long I'm waiting in between jumps. The issue is that it varies. Every single jump that I do, it is specific to wherever I am on the map and what I am trying to accomplish. Whenever I am playing the game, I only concentrate on two specific things: where the next enemy is going to possibly pop up and what my reaction to where he pops up will be. So there's just this constant feedback loop going again and again through my brain as I progress to the next area. I think of the possible locations that the enemies will push out of, and I respond with the appropriate movement. Now, a lot of this is just straight up experience, putting hours and hours into the game, so you know how to react to certain situations. But also, another huge part of it is being able to jump while you're shooting. If you can't do that, then a lot of this isn't really going to apply to you. It's not really going to be that helpful. If you don't have an elite, a scuff, or a battle beaver or something like that where you have paddles on the back of your controller, and if you don't use bumper jumper or stick and move, you really should be using that at this point, because this is not boots on the ground. You need that advantage to be able to slay out on the same level that I do. So getting back to how to respond to certain situations, there is no exact right answer, a certain thing that you should do. You just need to have a game plan, know what you're going to do, and execute it properly. It's sort of like a dance in the way that you can't really master it. There's no specific way to do something, but what makes it good is the way you chain your movements and you put things together, and a lot of that can only come again with experience. A lot of the movements that I do, even in the middle of gunfights, I'm pressing my A button. Well, it's not really my A button, it is a paddle on the back of my controller. I use an elite controller. I'm pressing it like 6 to 8 times. I'm really just tapping it little by little using my boost, because that allows you to get more hang time. But the thing is, you're not always going to want to do that. You don't just want to float in the air while an enemy is shooting at you, because that makes you an easy target to hit. Sometimes you want to stagger your jumps, change the rate at which you use your jetpack. You want to do a few quick bursts and a few slow ones to throw off your enemy, and you can't really see that, or it's hard to pay attention to that when I'm in the middle of gunfights. The way that I control my movements and my gun skill, it's completely independent. So there's a lot going on here, and it's very easy to miss because it just looks like one smooth, fluid motion, when in reality, it's even hard to explain because there's so much that goes into it. If you watch a lot of my other videos, you'll see sometimes when I'm in a gunfight, I'll even go and start a wall run just to jump off and really quickly jet off to one side of his screen while my aim is still on point. That is very, very difficult to do, and when done correctly, it doesn't really look that hard because all I'm doing is jumping around while keeping my aim steady, but it is a lot harder to execute. I really wish there was some secret, some way that I could just tell you some quick 20-second explanation and be done with it, but it really isn't that easy. There's no secret to unlocking this jetpack movement. You really just have to try it out. Another big part of it is knowing every single wall run on the map. There are tons and tons of areas on maps that look like you'd be able to wall run on them when in reality you can't, and also even on surfaces that you can wall run, after you pass like a certain corner, or there'll be little spots on the wall that you can't actually wall run on. So there's no way to actually know this unless you practice. You just keep playing the game you take all these wall runs constantly, so you know the limitations of each. If whenever you go to jump and then jump again using your EXO, you just let the whole thing run out in one burst, you hold down your A button, you've been doing it wrong this whole time. That is like the most standard issue jump you can possibly do, and there's a lot more to it in keeping momentum, being able to wall run longer, or like shooting off walls, getting hang time. These are all skills that you've been completely missing out if you haven't been peppering your A button and allowing your boost to last longer because you're not using it the full time. The only way that you're going to get better at it is by constant everyday practice. And what really helped me is that I played every Call of Duty since COD 4, so my gun skill, by the time they introduced jetpacking into Call of Duty, it was already really good, so I didn't have to worry about trying to keep steady aim when I'm jumping. It just sort of came naturally, so I just had to master the jumping independently of the gun skill. Now if this is maybe your first or second Call of Duty, that's not going to be the case. You're not going to really have a dominant shot in this game, and at the same time you're trying to learn wall running, so it is a lot to take in. You're probably gonna suck at it for the first few months because it's just too much to handle. Do you fuck a girl in the ass the first time you meet her? Well, maybe some of you do, but for the most part, you gotta ease your way in there. It takes a while, and nothing that you can do at the beginning will make it perfect unless you put the time in. So these gameplays that I have playing in the background, I specifically concentrated on my air movement, tried to make it as crisp as possible, and tried to give like the best air responses to certain situations that I could, so that you guys could get a good example of what I'm talking about. My first response to certain situations is going to be different from yours because I take to the skies the instant I see someone, just because I know automatically that they're not going to have 100% accuracy. I'm not playing against pro players, this is pubs. The instant you go in the air, it throws their aim off, they panic a little, they don't know what to do. Obviously my response would be different if I was playing, say, game battles or competitive Call of Duty, but it's not the case here. There's not really a whole lot to it. You can only really press your A button around 8 times before you run out of your boost completely, and that's if you're like barely pressing it. So a lot of the finesse and the cool plays that you see, it's not the exosuit. The exo movement isn't going to do it for you. It all depends on how you want to change your movements, what you want to accomplish. If you want to stay on a wall run, you want to slide in the middle, or maybe you want to stagger your jumps so your opponent can't get a shot on you. It really is what you make of it. The system is there for you to use to its full capacity, and it is very hard to master. So who would have thought the easy way to master it is repetition. You just gotta get the time in, get used to exactly how much distance you cover every time you press your A button. How long you want to hold it is just how long you want to stay in the air. If you want to stay in the air longer, you just keep tapping it. If you just want one long boost, obviously you hold it down, but you just got to be familiar with chaining the movements, know all the wall runs on the map, and how you want to progress through certain situations. It's not rocket science, there's nothing too complex about it. The only difficulty comes when you are in the middle of a gunfight and you are trying to do all these complicated maneuvers at the same time. So that can make things interesting, and that is why it is so difficult to get down, and I don't think anyone has fully mastered it because it's impossible. It is what you make of it. Just know how to respond to certain scenarios and you will be a lot better off. So I hope this video helps you. There's another gameplay after this one. I didn't do like amazing, but I did really concentrate on the jumping. So there are a lot of good responses in there if you want to stick around. And I mean, I still did pretty well. It's just not like one of my best gameplays. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please be sure to drop a like, comment down below with any thoughts or questions you may have. And as always, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you in the next great video. Peace.
Friendly drone support is active. Allied Vulture on field. We're winning this fight. Allied drone package entering airspace. Allied drone package entering airspace. Your orders on standby. Friendly drone support is active. Friendly Scarab active. Danger close. Shots out.